Good morning. So, as we talked about, we are going to talk about road safety from a global level to a local level, and how do we use data to help improve safety on roadways. And in this session, I am going to give you a perspective of factors that one needs to consider when you are looking at road safety. We are not going to get too much into data in this session or sources of data. I will summarize some statistics data. We will also engage you in a couple of assignments during the class session to get you to participate. Ritesh, I will need your help. I'll tell you when, and if I cannot do the Slido, I'll put the question if you can put it in Slido. Okay. So, having said that, each one of us brings with us experiences as users of the transport system, road system, public transportation, walking, bicycling, two-wheelers, so on and so forth. First question, I'll give you 30 seconds to respond, and I need somebody to help me with the 30 seconds. Do I have you to be the timekeeper also, or can I have somebody else be the timekeeper? 30 seconds, okay. I have my watch, I will do that. Question is, how many of you have been in a four-wheeled vehicle within the last 30 days, a motorized four-wheeled vehicle in the last 30 days? I'll say since March 1st. You don't need 30 seconds, right? Raise your left hand, the other left hand. Left hand, if you have been in a motorized vehicle, keep it raised. If you have been in a motorized four-wheeler, it could be a bus, it could be a car, it could be a minivan. Since January 1st of this year, left hand. No. Since January 1st, 2024, no. Okay, raise it up. I want to keep you away. Is there anybody who has not been in a motorized four-wheeler? Good. So, if you have been in a motorized four-wheeler, this applies to people online too. So, raise your hand. You can use the, are they able to use the emojis to raise their hand? Okay. So, if you have been in the back seat, not the front row, if you have been in the back seat, raise your right hand. If you have been in the back seat of a motor vehicle in the last 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, it does not matter, ever in the back seat, right hand, the other right hand. Other right hand, thank you. Everybody? No? Your app? Right hand on the app? Okay. All right. So, now if you have worn your seat belt when you were in the back seat of a motor vehicle, raise your right hand. If you use the seat belt every time, raise your right hand. To those of you who did that, thank you. Those of you who didn't do that, thappat. Okay. Why did you not wear the seat belt? Question, yeah, I'm serious. Why did you not wear the seat belt? Okay, I'm not going to pick on anyone. Whoever you're sitting next to, get together in 2 or 3. Talk about the reasons why you did not wear a seat belt when you were in a motor vehicle. If you're not sitting next to somebody, move and sit next to somebody. Yes, I'm serious, and I will give you 30 seconds from now. Why did you not wear a seat belt when you were in the back seat? I'll call on you. Those of you, hey, you have the WhatsApp groups online, right? So, we need to activate the WhatsApp group so that they can talk amongst themselves. So, 10 seconds to go. All right, time. So, this group, please tell your name. You are representing the group, not representing yourself. When I ask you the question, you are giving me an answer. Give me one reason why your group said you didn't wear a seat belt.
Actually, due to negligence.
You speak up so that everybody can hear you. Yeah, use the microphone.
Sir, due to negligence, sir.
Whose negligence?
Sir, ours.
Ours. Okay, this group. The second group. Speak up, please say your name And
And the probable reason why we didn't wear seatbelt at the back seat, because many a times the traffic police generally checks the people who are at the front only.
okay.
So
All
maybe
right.
that.
So the next row, how many teams? One team or two teams there? Okay, what did your team come up with? Turn off your mic.
So my name is Anuj Bhaskar, and because there is no seat belt in buses, so that's why we don't wear.
Okay, but did you ever go in a vehicle other than a bus in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years?
Yes, sir, we go, but we don't wear.
All right, next row.
Sir, it did give warning for back seat.
No warning. All
No
right,
warning.
this group of 3. Did you participate in that group? Okay. What?
Bus, so it doesn't have seat belts.
Okay, but when you are not in a bus, if you were in a motor vehicle?
In a motor vehicle, generally we wear the seat belt when we are sitting in the front seats, not in
Okay.
the back seat.
All right. That row. Speak up.
We wear it in the back seat.
You wear it in a back seat. I know you raised your hand. The other 2 didn't raise their hands. Don't feel the necessity. I hope by the end of this day you will see that you will wear your seat belt no matter where you sit in a 4-wheeler. If it is a bus that doesn't have a seat belt, don't. Okay. We'll get to this in a few minutes. It is just as important, if not more important, to wear seat belts in the back seat than in the front seat, because if, God forbid, if an occupant in a vehicle were involved in a motor vehicle crash, especially at speeds greater than 30-35 kilometers an hour, they become projectiles, rockets. You can send them to ISRO, and I see ISRO has a short course here right now. Okay, and they not only cause harm to themselves, but they cause harm to the people sitting in the front. And if you're interested, let me know. I will tonight load videos. I can show you video after video after video. So much for just trying to break the ice, get you to go. So here are the learning objectives. There are many objectives that we have. First of all, I believe each of you is here because you think the topic, the subject of road safety is important. So thank you for your belief and your conviction in road safety, but I'd like to say we want to expose you to some of the practices that are used around the world. Most of my comments will be based on the US, but in today's session, first session, I'll give you some examples from around the world. And after me, we will also have the second part of the opening day today will be the Indian context. Okay. Then what are strategies or approaches that are used around the world to improve adverse safety outcomes? Then what are the sources of data that we could tap into? That's the overall theme. But before we get to that, we need to understand what are some of the main factors. What data have been used traditionally? What data could be used? And where do we get them from? If we cannot get them, how might we try to move on things to get them? How do we integrate them? And in your tutorials, we will give you some data. If you don't have your computing devices, I ask at least one person in a team have a computing device so that you can work on the data. I will give you data in an Excel file. I want you to do some analysis. We'll use the same data set over the next 4 days. And then how do we use the results of the data analysis to analyze what are safety risks and how might we mitigate those risks? Is there anybody who cannot understand what I said so far? If you understood what I said, somebody please help me monitor what is online. Online people please say can they respond in text or emojis? Online people say thumbs up. Those of you who are here, if you can understand me, raise both your hands. Up, up. Hi. I'm keeping you awake. Yoga. No, I'm not asking you to bow to me. No. Good. So if I keep speaking and you cannot understand, it's a waste of time for the next 5 days, right? All right. So next, I'm going to do self introductions. Before I can help you learn, I need to learn about you. Okay. You have 30 seconds for, I will go around the room, I will call people at random, and what I need you to do is, this is what I need you to do. Your organization, I want you to go in this order. I don't want you to say my organizational affiliation is. If you are from IIT Guwahati, you say IIT Guwahati. What is your role? Faculty member. Jyoti will say that. Or if you are a PhD scholar, PhD student, if you are working in government agency, I don't want you to say my role is, just say what that is. Your name, I don't want you to say my name is, just state your name. The city or town where you presently reside, and the last part is the village, city, town, or district, and the state where you consider your ancestral root to be. This is important for us to know about each other as we talk about various safety applications, safety concerns. It is not only for me to know you, but for you all to know each other, because you are going to be working with each other. Is there anybody who has a question about this? So for people online, how do can they speak up? Yes. Okay. So I need somebody to help me monitor, call the people online one at a time. Okay. So let's start in the room from here. The gentleman in the blue T-shirt there. Please speak up so not only I can hear, those online need to be able to hear.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm from IITG, PhD student. I'm a Shagri Mokreo. I'm living here, IITG, Lloyd Hostel.
And where in Ethiopia?
Yeah, hometown is because it's asking this current. Okay, I am from Ethiopia.
That's why I asked, where from Ethiopia?
Yeah, Ethiopia is in Africa. I think most of you know Africa, the continent Africa. And there are around 54 countries in Africa.
I just want you to tell me your village, your district, and your state.
Okay, within Ethiopia, I am from Bahardar. I'm not sure whether you know it or not. It's in Bahardar city and in Bahardar University.
Okay, thank you. If not, if we don't know, help us understand that by the end of this 4.5 days. Next
Okay.
4.5 days.
Okay.
All right. I don't want you to go as long. He spoke in sentences. I just want you to give responses to each of the prompts.
Sir, I am a part of National Institute of Technology, Arunachal Pradesh, as a research scholar. Myself, Rahul Narayan.
I don't want you to say myself, Praveen Narayan. Okay.
Yes, Rahul Narayan.
Rahul Narayan.
Resides at Itanagar, Arunachal Pradesh.
Yes.
Belongs from district Muzaffarpur, state Bihar.
Bihar.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So the Bardhaman University, I am a BTech final year student. My name is Sayantan Das. I'm currently at Bardhaman, and my village is Pachmura, district Bankura, West Bengal.
West Bengal. Good one. Yeah.
Bardhaman.
Let's keep going this way.
I'm from IIT Guwahati. I'm master student from Transportation System Engineering. I am Sunil Chandra. I am from Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh, and basically my ancestors hail from Popadi Gadwal, Uttarakhand.
Okay. Next people onwards. I don't want you to say I am from. Just say the answers to the prompts.
IIT Guwahati, MTech student, Pawan Singh, Siang Hostel, IIT Guwahati, Rohtas, Bihar.
Bihar. Okay.
IIT Guwahati, MTech student, Transportation Engineering, Simadri Rohit, living in Brahmaputra Hostel, IITG, Raigada district, Odisha.
IIT Guwahati, MTech student, Anuj Bhaskar, Siang Hostel, IIT Guwahati, and District Bijnor, Uttar Pradesh.
Very well. So you learned.
IIT Guwahati, MTech student, Satyam Kumar, Brahmaputra Hostel. I'm from Khagadia, Bihar.
Where in?
Khagadia.
Khargadia in Bihar?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
IIT Guwahati, PhD student, Sasiraj, Guwahati, Patna, Bihar.
IIT Guwahati, PhD student, Ritesh Kumar Rao, Guwahati, Brahmaputra Hostel, Gorakhpur, Uttar Pradesh.
IIT Guwahati, MTech in Transportation System Engineering, Vineet Kashyap, Manas Hostel, IIT Guwahati, and Purnia District, Bihar.
IIT Guwahati, MTech student, Pitam Prakash Shah, Lohit Hostel, IIT Guwahati, and District Singrauli, Madhya Pradesh.
Okay.
IIT Guwahati, PhD scholar, Transportation and System Engineering. Currently in IIT Guwahati, New Merit scholar, and roots are from Prayagraj, Uttar Pradesh. Ishita Pragya. अच्छा नाम नहीं बताएगा.
IIT Guwahati, PhD student, Surya HR, IIT Guwahati, Hasan, Karnataka.
IIT Guwahati, research scholar, Rohit Sahu, in Merit Scholar Hostel, from Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh.
IIT Guwahati, MTech student, Tina, Dansiri Hostel, IIT Guwahati, Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh.
IIT Guwahati, PhD student, Rizul Sood, Umyam Hostel, IIT Guwahati, and Dharamshala, District Kangra, Himachal Pradesh.
Okay. Did I miss anybody? Dr. Nibjyoti Bharadwaj.
Yeah. So IIT Guwahati, faculty member, Nibjyoti Bharadwaj, and reside in IIT campus. Ancestral district is Nalbari, Assam.
Okay. Good. Thank you all. And now let's go online. Can somebody help me call people online? The IT help people? Can you please call people online one at a time so that they can respond to these prompts? You need to ask them. Who's first? Shruti Singh. I don't think you understood my request. Shruti Singh, can you speak up?
Hello, sir. IIT Bombay, PhD student, Shruti Singh, Mumbai, Gorakhpur, Uttar Pradesh.
Daniel Doley. Oh, you're here. Okay. So,
So myself Daniel Dole. I am PhD scholar. Now I am the third year student under Akhilesh Kumar Moria, sir.
I want you just to answer these. Don't say I am, so on and so forth.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. I am from Assam. Thank you, sir.
Where in Assam? Village, district?
Sir, district Dhemaji and town Zonai.
Okay. All right. So, CP Verma.
Good morning, sir. Very good morning, all of you. Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi, PhD scholar, submitted in January 2025. And Chandrika Prasad Verma, Sultanpur District, Uttar Pradesh.
Okay. And those of you who raised your hand, unless you have a question, please lower your hand online. Ashwini Gupta.
CSIR Central Road Research Institute, PhD scholar, Transportation Planning and Environment, Ashwini Gupta, Noida, Uttar Pradesh, New Delhi.
And your roots for E?
Hometown, New Delhi.
Okay, thank you. Aishwarya?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Please respond to the introduction.
IIT Bombay, PhD student, Aishwarya, Mumbai and Trivandrum, Kerala.
Okay. Tazim? Tazim Amin? Okay, inactive. Orko Day?
Good morning, sir.
IIT Roadway, PhD student, or Kobe, currently residing in Roorkee, Kolkata, West Bengal.
Okay, I saw Tazim activate. Tazim?
Yes, sir. Morning, Tyrone. This is Tazim, PhD student, NIT Srinagar.
You live in Srinagar?
Yes, sir.
And where are you from? Village, district, or state? And state?
Anantnag.
Please.
It's another district, Anantnag. Anantnag.
Anantnag. And which state?
J&K.
Okay, thank you.
Jammu and Kashmir.
Thank you. Ritvik? Ritvik? Please unmute yourself.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes. Not now. I heard you ask, am I audible?
Okay. Hope I am audible now.
Yes.
Volvo Group India, product owner, Ritik Kumar, district Bangalore, district Kamrup, Assam.
Okay, excellent. Krishna Kishore. I can see, but I cannot hear you, Krishna. You need to, yeah. No. Can you try to mute and unmute yourself one more time? We'll come back to you, Krishna Kishore. Ashutosh Tiwari. Cannot hear you. No, we cannot hear you. Can somebody with the IT see if there's an issue here? No, you need to unmute yourself, Ashutosh. No, we cannot hear you. I'll come back to you. Anurag Tombre.
Good morning, sir. I am PhD scholar, submitted my thesis from IIT Roorkee. I am Anurag Thombre. My hometown is Indore from MP, Madhya Pradesh.
Okay. Ashutosh, can you try one more time? Unmute yourself. Ashutosh, speak up. Good. Okay, I'll skip. Krishna Kishore, are you back? Please speak up. No, we cannot hear you yet. I'll try to come back. Ishfaq?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm audible, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. MNIT Jaipur, PhD student, Ishfaqul Abbas, Jaipur, and Anantnag, J&K.
Fantastic. So you are logged on twice, I see.
Yes, sir. For audio purpose, sir.
Okay, thank you. Pratyush Kumar?
IIT Bombay, PhD student, Pratyush Kumar, Mumbai, Gorakhpur, Uttar Pradesh.
Fantastic. I appreciate you sticking to my instructions. Bishal Datta?
Hello, sir. I am from Assam Engineering College. I am a BTech student. Myself, Bishal Datta, Guwahati, Dibrugarh, Assam.
Excellent. So let me try one more time with Krishna Kishore. Can you unmute yourself? Yes, please speak up, Krishna Kishore. I'm sorry, we cannot hear you. So we'll try to come back to you later if you can check your audio. Ashutosh Tiwari? Ashutosh, you are muted. No, we cannot hear you. Arham Shaikh? Arham, please speak up. No. Okay. So there was 2 pages. Is everybody online on the screen? Is there anybody else online? Ashutosh and Kishore, even if I'm speaking, if you're able to get your audio working, let me know. Just speak up. Okay? Don't feel shy to interrupt me. I'd like to hear from you. Is there anybody who I have not called on? Krishna, I saw you with the thumbs up.
Yes, sir. Now I'm audible, sir.
Yes, perfectly.
Yes, sir. I'm from sorry. IIT ISM Dhanbad, PhD scholar Ashutosh Kumar Tiwari, living in Dhanbad, Jharkhand, and from Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh.
Excellent. Anurag? Ashutosh.
Yes, sir. Ashutosh.
Yes, I can hear you. It was Krishna who identified himself, right? No, was it Ashutosh who spoke? Okay, Krishna, Kishore, can you speak up? No. His audio is not working. Okay, so let's go on. Do any of you have any questions for the people who introduced themselves? No. All right, I think I can follow most of the languages you speak. I can't follow Ethiopian languages or dialects. And so I'm originally from a little village called Vellatinur in the district of Thrissur in Kerala, but I lived there for a little while. I heard somebody say Dhanbad, so the first several years of my life I was in Dhanbad, Bihar, and then in Madras, or what is now known as Chennai. And then after I finished my undergraduate education in Chennai, I went to the United States to do my master's degree at Virginia Tech University in Blacksburg, Virginia. I spent a year there, and then a little over 3 years at the University of California, Berkeley for my PhD. And then I've lived in several cities in the US. Longest is in Las Vegas, Nevada. As you saw from my affiliation, I'm with the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. But I've also worked at Iowa State University for 7 years, University of Tennessee for 3 years, 2020 to University of Nevada, Las Vegas. My wife and I have 2 daughters, and all of us live in the United States. So that's a little bit about myself. Moving on. Yes, road safety is a global concern. I don't need to berate that. It is one of the leading causes of preventable and deaths. In the United States, for people under the age of 55, it is the leading cause, the top leading cause of preventable injuries and deaths, avoidable injuries and deaths. More than deaths, we talk about deaths in a lot of the statistics. Yes, that one life lost is one too many. However, at the same time, there are many, many people who are injured, serious injuries that have lifelong effects, life-changing effects. We need to be worried about that too. Not only to the individual who is injured, to that person's family and people in their community, but to us as a larger society. We are losing their ability to contribute as members of the society, whether it is from an economic side, from a social side, from an art and culture side, from a technology side, whatever be it. So we need to focus on not just eliminating or reducing deaths due to events on roadways or transport systems, but also trying to avoid injuries, especially the more serious injuries. For that, we need to understand what are factors that lead to these outcomes, these undesirable outcomes, and how might we develop what are termed countermeasures or interventions to lower the number of fatalities, hopefully work to a day where we have no one killed on roadways. Each day in my work I get data on traffic events in the state where I live, the state of Nevada in the United States. A day where I don't get a report about a fatality, it's a wonderful day. Means nobody was killed. But however, every day we have injuries. We'll get to the statistics around the world, in Nevada, in India later. And so a lot of the responsibility seems to lie on governments, and as one of the speakers in the opening session said, we place the blame on the drivers more often than not, but all of us as road users share a responsibility there too. As pedestrians, we may not be drivers, but are we being responsible road users? And how might we help inform, educate the road users so that we minimize these adverse outcomes on roads? I've used the term crashes very deliberately and not accidents. So I'm going to describe two scenarios and try to help you understand the difference between the two. There is a motorist traveling on a roadway. Two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler, it does not matter, multi-wheeler. As the motorist was traveling around this northeast India, hilly terrain, lots of mountains, all of a sudden there's a rock that comes crashing down the hillside, comes and impacts the vehicle they were traveling. So that's one scenario, scenario A. Scenario B, there's another motorist who was traveling around on the same roadway, and as the person was operating the motor vehicle, the individual was looking at a mobile phone and driving, didn't pay enough, because of the attention on the mobile phone, ended up hitting somebody in the vehicle in front, hitting the vehicle in front, led to, they were traveling at high speeds, led to some adverse outcomes in terms of deaths and injuries. Which is a crash and which is an accident? Yes?
So in my opinion, the first one is a crash and the second one is an accident, which is maybe it can be stopped.
Okay. I see smiles there. Yeah.
My opinion is the opposite. The first one is an accident, but the second one is a crash.
Okay. Anybody else?
Actually, you used the word preventable.
No, in this particular case, I was just trying to look at it. Yeah, preventable, I used it earlier. Yeah.
So I think that concept applies here to the crash and accident as well.
Yes, absolutely. So if it is a crash, it is preventable. If it is an accident, it's highly unlikely that we can prevent it. So the answer is, I agree with our friend from Ethiopia, is an accident is something that you could not have avoided. You're driving along and the rock comes, boulder comes down. That's an accident. But a vast number of the incidents that we encounter on the roadways are crashes. It is due to human error, lack of attention, driving under the influence, so on. There are many, many factors. We'll get into those. Those are truly preventable. And how can we get to that? So some global statistics. There are about 1.4 million, more than 1.3, 1.4 million people who are killed due to crashes on roadways around the world. In India, they say it is 1,50,000. I've seen data that said 1,60,000, 1,65,000, but this is a very, very conservative estimate. In my view, there are many, many such events that are unreported, even deaths, let alone injuries or crashes. But at a minimum, this is. You will be able to access copies of my slides after this, I don't know whether on a daily basis or at the end of the course. So if you want to make notes, please go ahead and do that. I just wanted to let you know you'll have copies of the slides. So this is more than about 1/8, 1 in 8 road fatalities occurs in India. This says 11.2%. My guess is it is 12.5% or higher. So 1 in 8. So if I look at developed countries versus developing countries, it is probably not a surprise to any of you that the developing countries have a poorer safety record than developed countries. High income countries, that's what the WHO uses, World Health Organization. I should have clarified. WHO stands for World Health Organization. It is for every 100,000 population, it is 8.3, whereas in low income countries, you can look up the WHO guidelines of what is high and low. It's based upon per capita and per family incomes. For low income countries, it is 27.3, 27.5. 3 times, 300% higher. Why is this the case? We'll try to examine some of these, and a lot of it is due to behavioral things. Just the question I asked, how many of you wore seat belts? Hey, can somebody turn off that microphone? It seems to be flashing. Okay. Many of you said, well, there was no seat belt. That is fine. If there's no seat belt, that is okay. Yeah, Ritesh, it looks like it turned off by itself. Okay. So, but many of you chose, you use the word negligence, chose not to wear a seat belt. Even if you're sitting in the back seat of the vehicle, you must wear a seat. If you wore a seat belt, chances of you being involved, if you were involved in a crash, chances of avoiding fatalities or major injuries, the severity of the outcome will be tremendously lower. So can we bring about behavioral changes that do that? And just as an example, some of you online, I heard a couple of you from IIT Bombay, you may have heard me speak. How many in this room have heard me speak before? Except the 2 professors, yeah. I know Ritesh, you were in a couple of my talks previously. I'll give you an example from my own little village in Kerala, in India. I think it was around the year 2000 when seat belts started coming in automobiles manufactured in India, around the year 2000. So I've been living in the United States much longer than that. So everybody in the village knows that I live in the US, so when I'm there, they know I'm in the village. So we don't have a car, my family doesn't have a car, so if I need to go somewhere, either take the bus, or if there are more people, or sometimes I just take a car, get a taxi. So there were 2 gentlemen who owned taxis in the village, and so somebody went on a bicycle. We didn't even have mobile phones that day, believe it or not, there were no mobile phones, okay, for the young people in the audience. So went and got one of the people. He was one who had purchased, in those days ambassadors were still in vogue, the Hindustan Motors ambassador. He had a seat belt. I get in the front seat and I put on the seat belt. I'm so happy, and so he says, Cheta, seat belted, and I heard at least one person from Kerala. Cheta means older brother, bhai, bhaiya, don't wear the seat belt. I said, I do this for a living and I see this. No, everybody knows that you are from America, you live in America, and you are wearing the seat belt because you think I'm not a safe driver. I said, no, I trust you, I've been in your car before, but this is a new car and you have this is the reason why we have it. I will wear it. He said, sir, please don't, Cheta, don't do that. I said, no, I will do this. And then finally he said, let's make a compromise. Don't wear the seat belt when we are in the village. When we leave the village, you can put on the seat belt. You know his reason? Because people in the village will see you wearing the seat belt, think that I'm not a safe driver, they won't call me for their rides. Once you leave the village, you can wear the seat belt because the villagers are known, our local village people are not there. So that was the motivation for him, is he will lose business if people see me wearing a seat belt. Days have changed, we still don't have a car at our home, and there are 2 or 3 taxi owners. And as I come back, I talk to them. My wife and I, we take turns coming back. She's also from Kerala. And so after a couple of years when my wife came, one of the drivers told my wife, tell Cheta that I'm wearing a seat belt and I made you wear a seat belt and I'm making other people in the car wear a seat belt. So that's a behavioral change, that's an attitude change, and that's a societal acceptance of things that they are not used to, but they need to do. So when we talk about preventable deaths, in low income countries, some of you said, it's because the police only look at the people in front. It should not be because the police is doing it. Are you making yourself safer? Are you making other people safer? It should not be because I'm going to get punished that I won't do certain things. think of positive reinforcement as opposed to negative reinforcement. But in the next 4 days we will see that many times we need negative reinforcement or punitive approaches to bring about behavioral changes. Any questions, comments, observations? Anybody have similar experiences? I'll build on this. So I drive a car. We have a car in my family. My wife and I have a car. So when we have visitors from India, when we take them around, or unless everybody is putting on their seatbelt, I don't start the car, or my wife doesn't. So I said my car doesn't move if everybody doesn't wear a seatbelt. So people, especially visitors, oh, what technology do you have in your car that it won't move? I said, Shashi is driving technology. Okay. You don't wear the seatbelt, we are not going. It doesn't matter where you're sitting in the vehicle. So it's the onus on you. We are all educated. We are in the top 1% of the global population in terms of where we are with our level of education, level of awareness, income levels, name it and what it is. If we cannot lead by example, we cannot expect others to follow. So we must make it our priority, and you take a promise, you make a pledge. So even now the taxiwalas, if they come to pick me up at the airport or the railway station, they make sure that their seat belts are in working condition, front or back. And I had a situation a few years back. I sat in the back. Usually I'll sit with the driver in the front. And he said, don't do that, sit in the front. Does the seat belt work? Yes. No, it hasn't been used, it is dirty. I said, never mind, I wore it. And then when I got off, I see on my shirt, I have the mark of the seat belt there. I said, that's okay, I'm willing to pay the price of my shirt. I can wash it, that is it, right? So this is the difference in the low income countries. People's lack of awareness is one, and lack of engagement, wanting to make a difference, is the other, and lack of enforcement is the third. So if you look at vehicle ownership, we have about 1/6 of the road traffic deaths in high income countries, 16% approximately, 1 in 6. But they have 3 out of 5, 60% of the registered motor vehicles. In low income countries, it is 5 out of 6 deaths on roadways, but only 2 out of 5, 40% of the vehicles. So you see the imbalance, and that is because of some of these behavioral changes, behavioral causes. Looking at some of the data, so if I were to look at this, on this chart what we have are 2 y-axes. On the left axis, the black line and the black chart. Let me use my mouse. Those of you online, can you see my mouse? Will one of you speak up, please?
No, sir.
You cannot see my mouse moving?
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Yes, sir. No, sir. Okay, I understand. Thank you. So I will try to describe it. The black line corresponds to the axis on the left, where it is the number of deaths in millions. So it ranges from 0 to 1.4, and you can see over the last, from 2000 to 2016, which was the last date that this WHO report had. Now if I use the pointer, people, okay, thank you. Do you follow the red dot on the screen, those online? Yeah, thank you.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so that's the black.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Then the green corresponds to the axis on the right, and on the axis on the right is the death rate per 100,000 population per capita, and that too. So this looks like it is reasonably flat, but it went up from 1.15 to 1.35 for number of deaths. Death rate has nominally dropped, but still one death is one too many. If I were to look at this, we have on the x-axis are different regions of the world, and on the y-axis is death rate per 100,000 population. So the first set of bars is for Africa, the next is the Americas, next is the Eastern Mediterranean, then Europe, Southeast Asia where India comes in, Western Pacific, and this is the global total. And the 2 bars that you see, the darker green is in 2013 and lighter green is 2016. Granted, that's not a long time span, but what you see is outside of Europe or the Americas, the rates are still going up for the most part, and they are substantially greater than, if you look at Africa, substantially greater than the world. Asia is also greater, Southeast Asia is also greater. These are just data, and looking at it in a different way, here is the colors on each represent different. So driver, passenger are in the dark green or black. For every wheel, let's just follow, I'm going to use the Southeast Asia. That is the drivers or passengers. The orange is motorized two-wheelers or three-wheelers. The next one, there's a thin slice of black, that is bicyclists. The green are pedestrians, and the other green are the motor users. Every one of us is a pedestrian on every trip. Even if it is getting from your hostel to your bicycle, you walked a little bit. But many people in the world do not have access to motor vehicles, whether it is to go by bus or train or so. They walk many kilometers to get to the first motorized thing, and that often is one of the most vulnerable stages of a journey, when they get off of a bus or a train and they are walking, or walking to the bus stop or the train station. So, and they are also extremely vulnerable. When you are in a four-wheeler or six-wheeler car, van, bus, you have a lot of protection around you. And today the modern cars have airbags, we have seat belts, and other technologies, we'll get into that. Whereas a pedestrian or a bicyclist does not have any surrounding to protect them. I have a question now. If this doesn't show up, Ritesh, can you put this on Slido? I'll just bring it up.
Actually, for Slido, we need to do the setup from the laptop from which we are presenting.
Okay.
So the second half, we can do that.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask this, and I'm going to ask each of you in the room, get together in groups of 2 or 3 where you're sitting. Those of you who are online, we have the WhatsApp groups now. Get together with your WhatsApp group, and I believe there are 5 WhatsApp groups, and I will call on group 1, group 2, group 3. I will give you 1 minute to come up with what are the major causes of road crashes in India. All the attendees here are from India. So what are the major causes of road crashes in India? I tried to set this up in Slido, but it doesn't seem to be activating. Yeah.
People can scan that QR and they can install it.
Can somebody try to see? When I tried it, it said it's not active.
It's asking for a passcode.
Passcode is that 4CZ 6ZU. Does that work? If it doesn't, no, for now, we'll worry about the technology for the next session. So let's just, in this room, those of you who are present in the room, talk to your neighbors. Those of you who are online, talk to your WhatsApp groups. There are 5 WhatsApp groups. It is working? Okay, but now I need to figure out how to get the results. I have to go to my Slido, yeah. So for now, let's just look at this. So the code is working. I'm very happy. Okay. So please enter your responses there, but talk to each other. I will give you 1 minute. Come on, you need to be talking. You need to be talking to your neighbors. So Akhilesh, until what time do I have? Till 12 o'clock, no? 12:15, yeah. Yeah, till 12:15. Yeah, I just want to pace myself. 10 seconds to go. All right, time. So Ritesh, will you help me track the WhatsApp groups? WhatsApp group 1, can somebody from WhatsApp group 1 speak up and give me one cause, just one? Please speak up. WhatsApp group 1. All right, WhatsApp group 2. Give me one cause of road crashes in India.
Driver negligence.
Driver negligence. Thank you. Who was that?
Ashwini Gupta.
Yeah, so when you respond online, please speak up so that I know who you are. Speak your name. Thank you, Ashwini. Driver negligence. Okay. WhatsApp group 3. I know you're entering. If one of you can monitor.
So the workload is actually now forming.
Oh, in Slido?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So with the response we can check. So far 9 responses are there.
Okay. Yeah. WhatsApp group 3. Anybody on WhatsApp group 3? No. Okay, WhatsApp group 4.
Overspeeding.
Overspeeding, negligence, overspeeding. Who was that? Please say your name.
Shruti Singh.
Thank you. Thank you, Shruti. WhatsApp group 5.
Hello, sir. Aishwarya this side.
Yeah.
Sir, distracted driving.
Distracted driving. Okay, thank you. Any of the WhatsApp groups who didn't speak up, do you want to speak up?
Hello, sir. Group 5.
Okay.
Chandrika Prasad.
Yeah.
Major cause is infrastructure and road use behavior.
Infrastructure, road use behavior. You gave me 2. I only want 1. This time you're excused. I'm just kidding. So give me 1. Thank you. Okay, in this group, the last row, very last row. The gentleman in the check shirt, yeah. Are all 4 of you together? Okay.
Sir, overspeeding.
Daniel, right?
So overspeeding.
Overspeeding. That's somebody else said that.
Sir, actually, I already messaged in that.
Yeah, but
earlier I was the first person to take message.
What is the next one? Think about what else did you think about your team? Only that?
I put a distraction driving.
That also somebody
Yes,
said.
sir.
So anything else new?
Sir, lack of enforcement.
Lack of enforcement.
Lack of enforcement. Okay. The row in the back.
Yes, lack of enforcement.
Ritesh's row. Ritesh, I want you to stay silent. I want one of the other 2 to speak up.
Poor lane discipline.
Poor lane discipline. Please tell me your name. Shashiraj. Thank you. All right. That group.
So poor road culture means how to drive in the.
Okay. Please tell me your name.
So Rizul Sood.
Rizal Sood.
Yeah.
Thank you. This group.
Sir, environmental activities. We can.
Can you expand on environmental activities?
Sir, like if the weather is too hot
Weather,
or
okay.
nothing like that, so the driver get distracted, then it will cause an accident.
Okay. So, yes. Yeah, wrong side driving. Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Bhardwaj. Speeding.
Yeah, WhatsApp group 1, one participant has written like bad road design.
Bad road design. Okay. So here are what I've found from as I was preparing for this workshop, this short course. Looked at some reports from India. And by the way, I have all the citations for every data that I've got on every slide. So you can verify it. Speeding. I put it in red font because that is the overwhelming thing. Disregard for the posted speed limit or disregard for the speed at which they are operating based upon environmental conditions. If it is a wet road, for example, after rain, or poor visibility. In the northeast India, we have a lot of fog out here. So even though the posted speed limit may be a certain 50 kilometers an hour, if you do not have that visibility, sight distance, you need to be driving slower. So speeding is a big cause. Driving under the influence and driving on the wrong side and jumping red lights, these seem to have a much higher proportion. And non-use of safety devices and use of mobile phones. One is distracted driving and non-use is blatant disregard for their lives and other people's lives. The road infrastructure and environmental characteristics come way down, lower down in terms of the true causes for factors. These are based upon analysis of crashes and their outcomes, and this is just a pie chart showing this. So what does this mean? There are tremendous economic burdens on individuals, on families, on societies. And if I look at it in the US, 5 years ago, 2019, it takes about a year to 2 years for the crash data to be tabulated, verified, validated. So this was the most recent one that I was able to get. $23 billion in healthcare costs, people who are injured and some end up dying, or even those who die when the paramedics or emergency medical technicians go to the crash site. There are costs associated with that. Lost productivity, 75 billion. Property damage, 76 billion. Insurance costs, 35 billion. So all of this is about $210 billion, $220 billion. That accounts for about 3% of the gross domestic product, which is a substantial number, folks. Lost productivity. Just think about people you may know, or families or groups that you may know, where somebody was injured in a motor vehicle crash. What did it mean to their families? What did it mean to their loved ones? What did it mean to the organizations that they worked for? So these are numbers, but once again I come back to one death is one too many on the roadways. So what a lot of countries around the world have adopted is a safe systems approach. It is proactive, and in the United States we started it much later than in other parts of the world. So the goal is to be proactive to minimize crash severity. So the focus is on fatal crashes and major injury, serious injury crashes. Yes, we are concerned about minor injury and property damage, but the bigger adverse impacts are the fatalities and major injuries. Previously, the approach had been we want to eliminate crashes, which is unreasonable from a practical standpoint. So even if there is a crash, we want to mitigate the outcomes of the crash. So that's what a safe systems approach is. And this is a graphic that the US Department of Transportation developed 2 years ago. 2023 is when they published their National Roadway Strategic Safety Plan. And I will go over this in greater detail on the next slide. And so let me just walk you through this. Around the circle we have 5 pies ranging from safer vehicles, safer speed, safer roads, post-care crash, safer people. And around the edge are the principles that guide it. And the next slide I will go more into that. So the key components are safer roads and mobility. Some of you talked about we want better infrastructure. That may be a cause for crashes in India. Yes, there we want to think of way beyond just the roadway. Think about the roadside infrastructure. Think about the traffic signage, route guidance, posted speed limits, speed humps, speed bumps, guardrails, safety zones on each side when you have high speed motorways, roadways. So that's what safer roads is. Safer speeds. One is the posted speed limit. Are they appropriate for the conditions, urban, rural? And there are many places now in the Western world, of more developed high income countries, where we can change the speed limit based upon the traffic conditions, the roadway conditions, the environmental conditions. And motorists also have a role there, safer speeds. Safer vehicles, so designing vehicles. So as transportation engineers we may not have much of a role in that, but we need to interface with people who are involved in vehicle design. Traditionally that has been the mechanical engineering domain, but increasingly we are seeing people from computer engineering, data sciences background, where we are trying to integrate data into the vehicle design, take into account where do we have the most impact, front impact, side impact. So what kind of safety devices, airbags, curtain airbags, seat belts, different types of seat belts, so on. Car seats. So the third one is safer vehicles. Fourth one is safer road users. And the fifth is post-care crash. And I put these letters in red because it helps me remember RSVP. Is there anybody who has not heard the acronym RSVP? When you get an invitation, they say, right, RSVP. So that's a very little mnemonic that you can use. Roads, speeds, vehicles, people. So that's RSVP, and I added the other P is post care. If you have a crash, provide appropriate emergency response. Is there anybody who has not heard the term the golden hour? Golden hour. You have heard of that. If you have heard of the golden hour, raise your right hands. Raise your hands on the screen, those of you who are online, if you heard the term golden hour. Okay, a vast majority here. Online I see, yeah, about 6 out of the 15 or so. So the golden hour is basically after a crash, if somebody is injured, where somebody is injured, if you can provide the appropriate medical care within the first 60 minutes, you can reduce the potential of fatal outcome to maybe a injury, major injury, or major injury to a minor injury. So this consists of a number of elements. Is you need to, one, notify people that a crash has occurred, get the appropriate responders. You may have the first responder, it may be a police officer, but that person may not have all the tools available. So the first qualified responder is somebody who is an EMT, emergency medical technician, who comes in an ambulance. In the United States, that's why the ambulances have a tremendous amount of equipment in the vehicle to stabilize a patient. Then they assess the condition of the person who is injured, try to stabilize as best as possible, and the response times in urbanized areas in the United States are less than 5 minutes in urbanized areas from when a crash occurs to when EMT comes. And the EMT is provided by private companies, and they have a contract saying that 99.9% or 99.3% or 95%, whatever be that, they will be able to provide a response within X amount of minutes, and usually it is 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Then the next step is they assess the person who is injured. They need to transport the person to the nearest appropriate care facility, hospital, trauma center. You may have a small hospital that is 5 minutes away, but a trauma center that is 10 minutes away or 15 minutes away. So they have to make an assessment whether the small primary care facility can provide the care, or they have to take the patient, even if it takes longer to get to the trauma place, because the care that they will get there. And I've been involved with this about 25 years ago, late 90s, early 2000s, before the cell phone thing. We worked with ambulance providers, one, to station them around the urban area based upon historical trends of crashes and crash severity, time of the day, day of the week, and locations. And radio communications between them and the trauma center to inform the trauma center what are the injuries that the person or people have, so that the trauma care people can be better prepared. As soon as the patient gets there, they are able to address the needs of the patient without having to do the assessment. So those days it was over the radio. Now you have much better technologies where they can communicate even digital images if they are able to scan and they find out what's the extent of not just fractures but internal organ injuries. It costs money, but then now comes the question of what is the value of life. How much do we want to invest from the government, from the private sector, from the healthcare people? And we as citizens demand that we want better response times and better capabilities for the ambulances. So that's the golden hour. So that's the 5 key components. And what are the principles? The principles that the DOT has identified, that's what was on the outside of the wheel. That's outside of the wheel. The basic principles are death and serious injury is just not acceptable to us as a broad society. We make mistakes, humans make mistakes. There's not one person who is perfect, excuse me. And we are vulnerable. No matter in our youth we think we are invincible, we are strong, so on and so forth. Doesn't matter, depending upon the severity of the crash. We are vulnerable, we are susceptible. As we get older or the very young, our level of fragility or vulnerability is much greater. an able-bodied person who is 20 to 30 years old is much better able to withstand a crash of a certain magnitude than the same crash in which there is somebody who is 60 years of age or older, or 8 or 10 years and younger. Just that's our body. Safety, responsibility for safety is shared amongst a lot of people involved in the transport domain. Government, public, we as owners of vehicles, we as operators of vehicles, we as users of roadways. So there are many players, and then beyond this, the media, whether it is television stations, radio stations, now we have social media, so on and so forth, getting the word out, whether it is education, enforcement, so on. And we need to be proactive for safety. That's one of the guiding principles. And redundancy is crucial. We must have systems that are redundant. We are less likely to make such investments in the transport and civil infrastructure even to a great extent than we are when you think about sending a satellite into orbit. They have multiple backups and redundancy systems, a lander to the moon, so on and so forth. Because they are very expensive. You're talking about millions of crores or lakhs of crores of rupees, right? But isn't a human life worth that much? If you can prevent that. Yes, to the immediate family, yes, but to a society, can we not do that? And we'll see later on in this workshop how we can look at including what is called the VSL, value of statistical life, to try to compare different types of outcomes and prioritize where might we want to make safety improvements and what types of safety improvements. So Vision Zero is a global model for road safety, and the goal is to have 0 deaths and 0 major injuries from road crashes. It was first in Sweden about less than 30 years ago, and many other countries have incorporated this. And the next few slides are some case studies from around the world and from the United States. So the goal in Sweden was 0 fatalities and 0 serious injuries. They implemented roadway design that several of you talked about, better enforcement and automated enforcement, and education and awareness campaigns. And the impact, so between 1990 and 2015, that's a reasonable amount of time, 25 years, road traffic fatalities dropped by 66%. And now it is 2.8 per 100,000 inhabitants. Remember from several slides ago, in the poor countries it is 28, 1/10. And the infrastructure improvements included better roadway design, barriers to prevent crossover crashes. Those are the median barriers. Bicycles, Sweden, even though it's a country where it is very cold, if you think it is cold in northeast India, it's bitter cold in Sweden, where maybe 4 to 5 months you have temperatures below 0 Celsius. But still people bicycle. But you develop roadway infrastructure that supports that, and roundabouts instead of traffic signals. So these are some examples as I pulled out. And they came up with legislative changes, very strict DUI. If you're driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol, the penalties are very severe. In Europe, in Australia and New Zealand. Unfortunately, North America does not have lower speed limits in urban areas. And so this graphic shows between 1997, before and after. On the y-axis is the number of fatalities annually, and on the x-axis is time from 1990 to 2015, and you can see a general downwards trend with 1997 with the red line where Vision Zero was implemented. Australia has been a leader in this domain. So their goal was between 2021 and 2030 reduce fatalities by at least 50% and serious injuries by 30%. And they looked at same RSV. They have 3 broad categories: roads, vehicles, and road use. Road use includes road users, and they have had a mixed bag. They had about 1,260 plus fatalities in 2023, which was a 7.3% increase from the year prior. Their fatality rate is 4.8 per 100,000, which is more than Sweden, which was 2.8, but still about 1/6 or 1/7 of the low income countries. And the economic cost is about 1.8. So in the high income countries, developed countries, the economic cost of adverse safety outcomes from road crashes is between 2% and 3 or 3.5%. That's a substantial amount if you look at what does it cost society. Means each of us, we are members of society. One way to look at this is what would have been the things. Yes, around the world between 2020 and 2023 there has been an increase in number of motor vehicle crashes, number of motor vehicle fatalities and serious injuries. And we are still analyzing, researchers around the world are still analyzing it, why this is the case. The preliminary data suggests, preliminary evidence suggests the following. In 2020, March 2020, there was a major incident that hit people all around the world. What was that? COVID. With COVID came lockdowns, people stayed at home, lesser amount of road travel, motor vehicle travel. So the number of vehicles on the roadways decreased dramatically. Now you have wide open roadways, wide open lanes, people started driving at higher speeds. And in the United States, I can tell you, right where I live in the Las Vegas metropolitan area, every year now we have police reporting travel speeds observed higher than 135 miles per hour, which is 200 kilometers per hour. Hundreds of vehicles where we would maybe have a few dozen vehicles because the road is wide open, nobody in front of you. And even as traffic volumes increase, these behaviors tended to continue. So higher speeds are one of the primary reasons why you see an uptick, an increase globally, not just in the United States, everywhere speed. And we are creatures of habit. Humans are creatures of habit. Oh, we were doing this last week, last month, last year. Okay, we can continue it without regard to what has changed in the environment around you. So the challenges that they found include increasing road deaths and fatalities, what we saw in the previous one. The big challenge is speeding, drunk driving, distracted driving. And young drivers, especially in most of the Western world or high income countries, individuals earn their driver's license around the age of 16 or 18. And there are multiple factors that lead to higher, not just frequencies, rates, number of crashes, number of fatal crashes, number of fatalities, per capita, per kilometer traveled, so on. When we have new drivers, young drivers, they have less experience, the rate is much higher than somebody who has been driving for many years. So 16 years to about 20, 25 years, the rates are much higher if I'm using y-axis on my left hand. And as we go to on the x-axis, if it is age, between 30 and 50 or 60 years of age, it's much lower. So what you see in Australia is younger drivers. Now they started getting their driver's license 2020, 2021. They've been using higher speeds. That just continues. And so they have adopted the safe system approach, and the focus is improving laws, improving infrastructure, better using technologies, and strengthening education, getting people to understand what. In the United States, I'm going to use examples from 4 metro areas, and this is an AI generated image. We had at the United States, they used an example of a baseball stadium. I said, we can't use baseball in India. So this is an AI generated image of a typical cricket stadium. You may have about 1 lakh capacity in the larger stadia, 50,000 in the smaller stadia. Am I right in that? What is the typical size of a cricket stadium here? You have one here in Guwahati. I came past that. The lights were on when I came in the other day. Does anybody know the capacity of the cricket stadium in Guwahati? Ask Professor Google. Look it up, okay. So in the United States, so the examples I'm going to draw upon are from New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles. These are 3 of the bigger metro areas, and Las Vegas, where I live. The focus areas across typically are reduced speeds, improved safety for pedestrians and bicyclists. People outside the United States don't think pedestrians and bicyclists are important.
Yeah, it's about
38,000 in Guwahati, yeah. And if you look at the outside of the top 5 cricket stadia, Ahmedabad has what, more than 1 lakh? I think Chennai and the Eden Garden in Calcutta has 100,000, but mostly it is about 50,000 to 60,000. You said 38,000 here, yeah. So if I look at it here in the United States, there were about 41,000 people who died in the year 2023. It was higher in 2022, it was 43,000. So that's 1 cricket stadium full of people who die every year. So reducing speeds, focus on pedestrians and bicyclists, road infrastructure, traffic signals, roundabouts, signage, or other common themes. So another way to look at this, about 50,000 or 40,000 people per year. Is there anybody who has not traveled on an airplane in this room? Online, is there anybody who has not traveled by airplane? If so, raise your hand. Those of you who have raised your hands, please lower it now. I see Ritvik and Ashutosh. Okay, you may not be engaged. So online, if you have not traveled by airplane, please raise your hand. Use a emoji. Shivasai, Ritvik or Ashutosh, are you active? No. So I'm going to say that, yes, did somebody speak up, Ashutosh? Okay. So let me put this in another way. A typical aircraft that we travel here, I came from Bengaluru to here, has a seating capacity of about 150 passengers. It ranges from 120 to 180, whether it is an Airbus jetliner or Boeing airliner. So about 150, and most of the time you have between a load factor, that's a technical term, of between 75 and 90%. That is how many of the seats are occupied. If you have 100 seats, if 80 are occupied, the load factor is 80. So I'm using 80% load factor, which is the global average for aviation. It is 120 people per airplane. Can somebody do a calculation? 120 multiplied by 365. Come on, pull out your calculators. 43,800. We had about 44,000 fatalities in the US a year ago, now 42,000. What that means is every day 120 people are dying on the roads in the US. In India it is about 4x that, which means it is equivalent to 1 jetliner crashing every day, and when a jetliner crashes everybody dies, right? Do you think it is going to be big headline news on TV, in the newspapers, social media, that there was an airplane crash in such and such a place and 100 people or 120 people died? That would be, no? And for how long would that be in the news? 1 minute? 1 day? 1 week? 1 month? Yeah, typically. Say, oh, this happened, and then stories about, oh, this was this young person who was a rising engineer, this was a rising lawyer, this was a great artist, so on, and their families, you have stories about that. Then when we have 120 people dying on the roads, or here in India 500 people dying on the road every day, why is that not headline news? Why are we not paying attention to that? I'm asking you a question. Talk to your neighbors. I'll give you 30 seconds. Ask your friend what the question is. Those of you online, please check with your WhatsApp group. 5 seconds. Okay, time. I'm going to start with a group in the last row. Why? Why is this not a big concern for society, for the news media, or for the elected officials? No response from your team? Okay. The team in this corner, my right. I want somebody who hasn't spoken up to speak. Yeah, please identify yourself by name.
Sir, my name is Akshay. What we think is maybe the political scenario that is happening, like nowadays media is like the PR of the government, maybe.
Okay, all right. The group up front.
Yeah, sir, in our opinion, that if a flight crashes, then 120 or 150% died at the same time at the same place. But if, like, as an example, 1% died in Guwahati right now, and at that minute 1% died in Kolkata, so it is like
it's spread over
the country. Yeah.
All right, the group in that row. You cannot give an answer that the others gave.
So the fact is, our answer was somewhat in between of both the point of views.
Okay. Please identify yourself.
Sir, I am Sunil Chandra. Right now, I'm a master's student.
Yeah. By the end of this week, I hopefully will know you by name and face. That's my goal. Yeah. Okay. Next row.
Maybe it's not a headliner because similar, same reason.
Same reason. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me your name.
Satyam.
Satyam. Thank
First
you.
year MTech.
Thank you. Next row.
So we also came up with the same reason, like dying at a particular place with a particular reason is more impactful and is a big headliner.
Okay. Yeah. So anybody online would you like to add to the conversation?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Chandrika is here.
Yeah.
So regarding the, I think when we say road safety is a shared responsibility. So in Indian context, nobody want to take the responsibility because everyone would be involved in there. So they would be responsible if they found in between. So that is the best way to save their own self. Just don't take the responsibility.
Okay, but why is it not a big news when you have so many deaths, equivalent of 120 people, or in India 500 people dying every day?
I would say it's a political, there should be a political will. Nobody wants to.
Lack of political will. Anybody else online?
Sir, Aishwarya.
Yes.
Sir, I think there is a huge investment involved, like the insurance and all for, like whenever a flight crashes, a huge investment is involved, and people tend to the money or the capital thing project. Like if there's a leakage in our house, we can fix, and it is only a minor amount of money is involved. But if a dam breaks, I think it kind of similar.
Okay, so it has to do with money. Aishwarya, you're at IIT Mumbai, right? Bombay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else online?
Ashwini Gupta, I think low value of life in India.
Low value of life in India. Thank you, Ashwini. All right, I had a hand up in the back here in the room.
Hello, sir. I am Manas. Sir, I think if there's an airline crash, then the stakeholder is just the airline company. We can put the blame on them. But if there are road accidents, there are more stakeholders involved, from the PWD department to the traffic police and also the people living around the area. There are more stakeholders involved, and the blame is shifted from here and there.
And then the manufacturer of the vehicle?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. So there are many reasons. Some of these are, it didn't happen in the same place, the gravity. It's like a huge detonation going off in one place versus many small Diwali firecrackers versus a big bomb somewhere, right? But we need to pay attention. If it happens to us, then we pay more attention. If it happens somewhere else, it's not, doesn't bother me. So we need to change that mindset and bring the political will, political attention, media attention. So that's what a lot of NGO organizations right in India are trying to do, is raise the awareness and value of human life. So let me keep going. So in New York City it was in 2014, and this is a busy slide, but the point I want to make is the bottom part of the slide is crashes that involve pedestrians, or number of pedestrians who are killed. The next light blue are bicyclists, and the light gray are motorcyclists. So this is from 2009 to 2022, and we see it peaked in 2013, and then after the Vision Zero is introduced, there's a general lowering trend of the most vulnerable road users, pedestrians and bicyclists. For those of you who are not familiar with New York City, it is very dense, similar to like Kolkata or Mumbai, where you have very, very high density of land use, buildings, people per square foot or per acre is very high, and a lot of people walk there. A lot of people use, they call it the subway system there, underground trains and buses, unlike many of the cities in the US that are to the west, where public transportation is not. So pedestrian traffic is very high, bicycle traffic is very high in New York, so that's why. The other examples I'll show you too. So there are some positive impacts that we can see from the Vision Zero. What did they do? They had lowered the speed limit all across the city of New York on urban streets to 25 miles an hour, 40 kilometers per hour. Yes, we have high speed freeways and expressways, but they are limited access. Speed and red light cameras, automated enforcement. So that's some of the technology. Increasing time for pedestrians to cross the streets where you have traffic signals. So pedestrian fatalities dropped by 14%. In San Francisco around the same time, 2014, and what you see here are the blue is pedestrians killed, ranging from the year 2005 to 2023, and 2014 was where the Vision Zero plan was initiated. Yellow is people killed while bicycling, green is people in vehicles. So you see when Vision Zero started out here, there was an uptick, then it dropped, but in the last 2 years there's a slight increase. But if we were to look at 10-year average before versus after, there is a nominal decline, but it is not all roses. Here are things that they did: safer bike lanes, better provisions for pedestrian mobility, more data driven street designs or redesign. Where do you have more pedestrians? Where do you have more bicyclists? What are the speeds that we have posted versus what are the speeds that the motorists are driving at? If they are driving at much higher than the posted speed limits, what can we do? Narrow down the lanes maybe. So there are some examples. And then automated law enforcement, policing. Impacts overall a 33% reduction in fatalities, but the trend is not necessarily as strong as we would like it to be. In Los Angeles it was initiated a year later, 2015, but the data in Los Angeles are quite mixed. In fact, you see some increases. The chart here gives you total deaths on top. The red is pedestrians, yellow is motor vehicle operators, blue is motorcyclists, and the bottom gray is bicyclists. So it's all over the place, somewhat flat here, but what you're seeing is on this motor vehicles you see an uptick. Pedestrians, you see an uptick. I don't know the reasons for that. Another way to look at it is, here are what they did. The question I have at the bottom is, well, if the fatalities increase, why should we worry about Vision Zero? I ask the counter question: if you didn't have the Vision Zero plan, would the fatalities have been higher? So these are some of the, if those of you who are in transportation do statistics, Bayesian type of analysis, what if versus what if not. Bayesian statistics. I don't have an answer to why this is the case, but I would say that based upon my experience, if we didn't have the Vision Zero program, chances are that outcomes would have been higher. In Las Vegas, it was much more recent, 2 years ago, and full disclosure, I serve on one of the committees advising the city of Las Vegas for their Vision Zero program, and the goal is much longer. In 25 years, eliminate all fatalities, and there are various strategies. It is a much bigger thing than just the traffic department. Looking at it from the city council members, informing them, to working with judges who do the traffic courts, working with police, better street design, implement safer speeds, bring about a culture change, a behavioral change. And minimize risky behaviors. Here we have 23% are due to impaired driving, driving under the influence, and 22% are speeding. And so in Nevada, going beyond, Las Vegas is a city, Nevada is a state, like Guwahati is a city, Assam is a state. Most states, all states in the United States have a strategic highway safety plan that is required by the central government to get some funding for road safety and transport related activities. So initially in Nevada it was in 2006, and then every 5 years we updated. The chart here shows from 2013 to 2022. The upper part is the number of people killed and the lower is the number of crashes. So you see a close correlation. In the most recent year here, for which I show data here, 2022, there were 383 fatal crashes and 416 people killed. That number in a subsequent slide I'll show you, it's about 415. So it's been going up the last few years. Yeah, 2024 was 412, not 416. Why are we not making gains? We've been doing this for 20 years. The counter question is, despite doing this, we are seeing increases. What is working, what is not working? So once again, I chair one of the committees within Nevada. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. The state organization, so the State Highway Safety Plan is a joint effort by the Department of Transport, which is the equivalent of Public Works Department here. The Office of Traffic Safety, which is all the law enforcement police agencies there. In the US, each city, each district has their own police agencies, and here in most states you have a state police that has the traffic enforcement. Maybe you have some metro areas city. So the focal, this is what collectively they agreed upon: equity, engineering, education, enforcement, emergency medicine. But you will see engineering, education, enforcement, and emergency medicine across all states. Equity and everyone, some states have different variations of that. And in the last few months we are seeing, based upon a change in our central government, perhaps a concern from road users and stakeholders that equity is not seen as in as favorable a light as in the past years. And the key areas are safer roads, vulnerable road users, safer drivers and passengers, and preventing impaired driving. And I chair the group on safer drivers and passengers for our strategic highway safety plan. And so once again, I'm not going to repeat this, pardon me. So what you see here are the strategies are similar to what we saw in the other plans, not only across the US, but across the world in the other case studies that I showed you. I wanted to point you to something that I discovered preparing for this. The state of Haryana adopted a Vision Zero plan. How many of you are familiar with this? May I have a show of hands? Anybody online familiar with the Haryana Vision Zero plan? Mr. Verma, yeah?
Yes, sir, I have heard about it.
Okay, good, thank you. All right, so pardon me if I'm duplicating what you know, or if I say something that is incorrect or incomplete, please help correct or complete what I'm saying. So there were 10 districts in Haryana. It initiated in 2017, 10 districts that adopted it. They rectified or remedied 24,000 kilometers of road. 9,000 were subjected to a road safety audit. I presume most in the audience know, all in the audience know what the road safety audit is. And they identified more than 465 black spots and had 386 law enforcement police drives for zero tolerance of whether it is speed violations or drunk driving, so on. And more than 1,300 investigation of actual crashes. They call it accidents. I changed the term to crashes. Okay. And what did it result in? Their analysis said that this resulted in saving more than 460 lives. So there is definite tangible results that right in India we are seeing adopting Vision Zero here. And here's a chart that shows from 2009 to 2019. I apologize for the numbers not seen. I just did a screen capture from the report. And the green numbers are number of people injured, the blue bars are the number of crashes, and the red line is the number of people killed. So you're seeing that number is from 4,600 went up to 5,057. And you could ask, hey, how can you say then 460 lives were saved? This is where I talked about the empirical based approach, where what if you didn't have this, what might have been the outcome? So don't let somebody else say, oh no, the numbers are increasing, so there's no benefit. You need to look at what if you had not done it, what might have been the outcomes. So the common 4 E's that you would have probably seen adopted across the world are engineering, education, enforcement, and emergency medicine. These are common across the world when you look at improving road safety. Most of us come from an engineering background, but we need to look at how do we parlay our expertise in our domain knowledge, work with others in education, enforcement, emergency medicine to improve adverse safety outcomes around the world. And leveraging data. So that's where we are at. That's why the goal of this 4.5 day, the remaining 4.5 days of this. And then how do we do some black spot or high risk areas, and how might we then work with the 4 E's and beyond the 4 E's to bring about change so that we have safer roads, better outcomes for users of the roads. The buzzword nowadays is AI, big data. Yes, we can leverage that. So as one of the deans talked about this morning, he works in electrical engineering, computer vision, so on. But we can, I work with an electrical engineering colleague who helps with this. I don't profess to have domain expertise in all of this. I know enough to know what questions to ask and how to do some of these things. Some of my students know much better than I do. Many of you probably use AI tools better than I do. But collectively, we have to work with each other. We bring different expertise. Work with computer scientists, data scientists, political scientists, education people, media and communications people. Bring all these data together. And we'll see some examples in day 3, day 4 of how we are trying to leverage some of these data. And not looking at what has happened. What do we know? What do we think will happen into the future? Predictive modeling. I'll just touch upon that, but not necessarily go into great detail day 4 of this course. So some of the technologies are ITS based systems. I'm not going to read it off. Most of you are, if not all of you, are already familiar with it. But many of them, while it is from an operational perspective, improve capacity of roadways, reduce delays, have direct implications for safety. So from ITS to advanced driver assist systems. This morning, first session, they talked about, oh, we put it on cruise control, go for kilometers and kilometers, but there's adaptive speed control. So if the vehicle in front of you slows down, the vehicle, your own vehicle slows down. Lane keep assist, lane departure warning. So these are specifically, ADAS is specifically for safety of those in a motor vehicle, but we need to be worried about pedestrians and bicyclists. So connected automated vehicles, and I want to extend this to connected automated vehicles and road users and infrastructure systems to avoid collisions. So nowadays, tell me if you haven't seen this. If you look at a pedestrian waiting at the edge of a roadway, bam, bam. Right? People have their head in their apps, not necessarily looking at their. But we can use technology. This is a pilot project we're working on. Is 90% of people in urban areas have mobile phones. If we can deploy some of the what we call CAVIS, connected automated vehicles and infrastructure, a motorist can be alerted that there is a pedestrian who's got his or her head in the apps trying to cross. Alert that. Likewise, some tactile, a vibration or something. We don't have the technology yet. If you're looking at cell phone technology, the latency of signals is in the order of 1 second or 2 seconds. That may not be enough. There are other technologies where the latency is 10 hertz, that is 1/10 of a second. We need that level of resolution to come. So this is a pedestrian. You track the movement, the speed, the location, the acceleration or lack thereof, and potential conflict with the motor vehicle, and alert both people, saying that, hey, there is an impending path, trajectories that could collide. Even if you give half a second advance notice to the motorists, if they start braking, instead of a collision at 60 kilometers an hour, if you can bring it down to 30 kilometers an hour, the outcomes could be avoided. Or for the pedestrian, yes, okay, instead of stepping onto the street, they just at the last minute stop, last second I should say. So these are some of the V2I things. Drones, this is mostly for traffic monitoring, but enforcing traffic laws, speeding in particular, inspection of infrastructure in remote areas. I'm talking not just about roadways, roadway conditions, but traffic signs, traffic signals, so on and so forth. Are they not working properly? We can take advantage of solar technology to illuminate roadways. Typically at junctions, intersections, especially when you don't have an intersection for many kilometers, is when motorists are just driving by, used to, okay, there's nothing. But if you all of a sudden see lights, you come up and that intersection is illuminated. So a drone inspection could be that, hey, the light at this particular intersection, the street lights are not working. Simple thing, instead of having somebody drive back and forth. Yes, labor is relatively inexpensive in India, but I'm more concerned about timeliness of detecting something that doesn't work and taking preventive action. And a lot of loss of life or injury happens when you have disasters, floods, hurricanes, cyclones, so on, when people are trying to get away. But then there is oftentimes the focus is getting off of somewhere, but not on what is happening in the motorized vehicle environment or pedestrians or bicyclists around. And in less developed countries, you have non-motorized, animal-driven vehicles too that have much different acceleration, deceleration capabilities, speed capabilities. We'll get into this later. This is my last but one slide. What are the current status and practice in India related to safety? Can India adopt or adapt successful road safety policies? I'm not just talking about implementation. Policies, what can we do and why can we not do it? What are impediments to it? Think about it, and this will be something we'll touch upon in the rest of this course. And what are the challenges? Why can we not do it? I'll stop with this slide that has my contact information. I presume all of you have my contact information. But everybody, I use this on every time I talk to audiences. Click it. Every time you are in a motor vehicle that has a seat belt, use the seat belt. Every position, front or back, every person, before the engine is started to after the engine is turned off. If you are on a two-wheeler, a helmet. Every person. All the time, every trip. Thank you for your attention.